Off with an interesting one. We've been holding on to this for a minute. A lot of players have been looking out for the Darkrai V-Star. Sure enough, we get to feature it on stream with the potential to maybe go on a hot run and make it into the top 8 here. It's going to be Liverpool up against David Tomhave-Alexie. And we're very excited to see how this works, because Darkrai is a special treat.
Oh yeah, it's a special treat for sure. Darkrai's been one of those Pokemon, like Gardevoir, that's always kind of a good card. And I think if there's a tournament for Darkrai to take down, it's one where there's a Mew at every table on the top.
That sounds pretty good to me. 14 Dark Energies in this deck. You have to think eventually you'll find a few of them at the right time, be able to knock out these Dark weak Pokemon on the other side. But we know how consistent the Mew VMAX deck is. Obviously one undefeated already in this tournament, and Lee's going to be looking to add to that with another victory potentially.
Prize card's not too bad for both players, like a couple supporters in there for Lee. And that Galarian Moltres V, which is a great secondary attacker in this matchup for David, does have 2 copies of that though.
Looked like we saw the Choice Belt in one of the power tablets for Lee to start things off there in the prize card, so maybe taking a big knockout could be tricky. Either way, we are underway here and going to be starting things off with the Galarian Moltres V in the active.
It does look like Lee is going to be starting things off for us. Triple Genesect V hand. It's kind of what you want to see. You need to get those down as fast as possible so you can get those Fusion Strike systems up and running and draw a bunch of cards from your deck. Even has the 4 Seal Stones, so
wow,
a wealth of options, but kind of nothing you really want to discard in this hand.
Well, that's the problem when you make a good deck. You eventually have to lose some of your resources, but it looks like potentially you could play the entire hand out if you want, but you can see the valuing of that Path to the Peak. Understands that if you can lock that in, maybe you can avoid some shenanigans from your opponent setting up. And, I mean, that's the name of the game.
I thought it was Pokemon.
Shenanigans sounds cool.
Okay. Lee grabs that Mew V with the Ultra Ball, and you have to be afraid of this Darkrai V-Star deck, especially sitting at the top tables. You get to see what other people are playing around you. You're playing Mew VMAX. This has to be scary, right?
Right. I mean, you have 2 attackers for the entire game, potentially, just working in that Mew VMAX that you're going to have from turn 2 on. And any time that a path is countered, energies fly onto the board, and you see a dark attack from a Pokemon, you're going to get knocked out most likely. And that can clear the game completely. You're not going to see any of these Fusion Strike Pokemon like the Deoxys or the Meloetta coming into play here.
Lee ends the turn with a Path to the Peak in play and that 4 Seal Stone to potentially get out of it next turn. But David's going to start things off with that Battle VIP Pass. One of the best item cards in the format right now to really just help your setup this turn 1.
Always a favorite card to see in the opening hand. Means at least you're going to get some setup here. Of course, Radiant Greninja, great resource in this deck.
Yeah, you know what's good when you have 14 energies?
Throwing them away.
Cards.
Also, plenty of ways to return those energies. If you have the ability of that Galarian Moltres V, you can bring that energy back, along with the Dark Patch that's played in this deck, which we've seen with Darkrai players for, what, a decade now?
Oh, yeah, years, for sure. Trekking Shoes discards Dark Energy. All right. Finds that Galarian Moltres. This is just going to be the regular one, the non-V. And that's really a good card in trying to break up the monotony of the prize race. All your attackers are 2 prize cards, so having that single prize attacker is really great.
Well, sure enough, double cross switcher in the hands. Just going to bring that Genesect V up. Try to draw into a way to counter this Path to the Peak so you can keep this opening turn rolling. Still has not seen the energy attachment for the turn.
Oh, wow. This hand is insane. A couple more Dark Energies, Ultra Ball, and another Battle VIP Pass here for David.
One thing we're missing is one of those 4 stadiums that David plays. 2 Pokestop, 1 Collapse, 1 Temple of Sinnoh could help out in countering this Path to the Peak. But going to miss on those, and I don't think I saw a supporter either, so could be in a little bit of trouble.
Second Darkrai V on the bench, and was opting for the Manaphy, but opts not to play it down. You already got another Darkrai in hand. All right, it's a nest ball. That's fine.
It's still very strong. Yeah, you can see Contemplating. Obviously, Manaphy, not a great Pokemon in this matchup. You're not going to be running into any scenarios where your opponent's attacking the bench, but even considering just thinning out by one additional card in a situation like that because of how important it is to find a relevant top deck.
And there's the attachment for turn. Is the other one a Dark Patch? I missed it already. Okay.
Yep, it was a pretty quick opening hand there, and it's going to run out of steam.
Well, we're going to start things off with a Power Tablet and a Judge from Lee here. Has that Path to the Peak in play, but can get out of it with that Forest Sealstone, but needs a lot of cards here. That Energy, Mew VMAX, Escape Rope would be really nice.
Yeah, when you're staring down all of these V Pokemon on the bench, it's going to be pretty easy to knock one of these Pokemon out. You already have that Power Tablet played down, so Escape Rope would lead to a knockout. If you can find the Lost Vacuum here, that just leads to so many more cards drawn than having to use the Forest Sealstone.
4 cards. Battle VIP Pass not going to be one of them. That Feather Ball is the Mew VMAX, but I think we're going to have to Forest Sealstone for that Lost Vacuum here.
Nope. The rest of the hand, not too bad. You can certainly draw up this hand now, get 4 additional cards after you remove this stadium, but I mean, even then you also have the Lost Vacuum too, so you can thin down an additional card from the hand.
Say goodbye to that Battle VIP Pass. Lee does find 1 card off that Star Alchemy ability from that Forest Sealstone, and it's going to be that Lost Vacuum. This will allow him to get rid of a card in his hand to the Lost Zone to remove a stadium in play. It's going to be that Path to the Peak.
And ultimately, you need this turn to use all of these abilities. The problem is you have to lock in the path right afterwards because you cannot let your opponent use any of their abilities. So the cards you need to find have to be pretty great. And looks like there's going to be 3 more draws off of this next Genesect V. Still a few abilities to use, but I mean, if you're not running into cards like Ultra Ball, they have to be the exact resources to take the knockout you're looking for here.
We found the double turbo energy. On step 1, now Escape Rope would mean a 2-prize turn for Lee here. Really hoping to find it. Switch would not really be beneficial because then you're just taking a knockout on that Radiant Greninja, and a Darkrai V-Star has potential to just come up and take the knockout right back.
Well, it's going to be that 1 switch card and the 2 Escape Rope that we're going to be looking for if you want to see the attack this turn from Lee.
Fusion Strike System for 3, finds double turbo, Path to the Peak, switch card, so does have the attack this turn.
And the Path to the Peak's a lock back in.
I do like this though. Playing the switch card, you get a card out of your hand. You got the Genesect V out of the active spot, so you can choose to attack this turn if you want, but you still need to try to find that Escape Rope. Power Tablet's not going to do it. Do you burn the Power Tablet? Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, at this stage, you have another Pokemon lined up. If your opponent ends up knocking out this Mew VMAX, your hand is perfectly aligned. You have double Turbo Energy, Power Tablet, and the Roxanne to counter your opponent. So I think you feel comfortable taking this prize card.
Meanwhile, David's going to do a little bit of running. Trekking Shoes in the hand, discards that Manaphy.
You know what they say about shoes?
What do they say?
They travel in pairs.
Oh, Stadium off the second one. That's the Pokestop. And now this deck is opened up for this game. A Luminant Sign from Lumineon V can find a supporter here. Probably going to be a Professor's Research. Just dig through for more resources. Needs a Darkrai V-Star to get things going.
Yep, we also have the Pokestop, spin the wheel, maybe get some more Dark Energies into the discard pile. The main goal of this turn is not only to take this knockout on the Mew VMAX, but to get enough energies in play to where you don't have to worry about the second Mew VMAX. You don't want to rely on anything from your deck on the following turn because you know your opponent is likely going to have a card like Judge or Roxanne.
Well, you know, it's pretty good. Another Dark Patch here. Is there a Dark Energy in the discard, though? It's fine. We're going to Pokestop it down.
I like this. Spin the wheel. You try to see at least one energy. That's not it.
Draw 2 cards, though. Not bad.
Thin down a little more. Still plenty of potential to draw into those resources off of the Professor's research.
Would have really liked that choice belt, though. All right, Pal Pad back. Couple of supporters into the deck. No Darkrai V-Star yet for David here. And I don't know if 50 damage from the Darkrai V is going to do much against this Mew VMAX.
I don't think that that's going to be the turn, but we'll see. This Professor's research is going to see 7 cards. A lot of great resources. Obviously, Dark Energies in combination with Ultra Ball would be the dream.
Did have one in the hand. Oh, wow. Double Dark Energy Ultra Ball. Just how you draw it up. Has a couple of Dark Patch in the discard, too, so you can get those back with that Star Abyss from Darkrai V-Star.
Look at this. I mean, every card is a great card to draw off of Roxanne at this stage. So throwing away 2 really precious resources with the Ultra Ball there. Can go after that Darkrai V-Star.
And Darkrai V-Star has Dark Pulse, 2 energy, 30 plus 30 for all the Dark Energy attached to all your Pokemon. And then that Star Abyss V-Star power, being able to grab 2 items from your discard, put them in your hand. Most of the time, they're going to be something like a Dark Patch.
I mean, I don't see enough Dark Energies. It might be trekking shoes.
I think he needed to discard a Dark Energy off that Ultra Ball.
Well, there is the Galarian Moltres in hand, which you could play down some additional there, but it's like going to start counting up, seeing if the knockout is close.
I think it's 300 damage, and there is enough to take the knockout, and it's looking a lot scarier for Lee now.
Yeah, not a full commitment there. Of course, still has the V-Star ability to use on a potential later turn. And that means that this Roxanne could be pretty costly in this situation.
Well, Lee's taking a look through the deck here with the Nest Ball, just trying to see what resources he has available to him for these next couple of turns. This is the Mew VMAX that you have against the world.
Yeah, a lot to ask for. You need to knock this Pokemon out. It is rule number 1 right now. And you need to have another backup Pokemon just in case you're not able to find that switching effect so that you can continue on attacking each and every turn. Now, we're starting to run a little low on those resources to take knockouts. We mentioned the prize cards earlier for Lee. A little difficult to deal 270.
Has the double turbo energy. Power tablet needs 1 more or a choice belt off this Roxanne and the 4 fusion strike systems.
Right. I love the hesitation there from David. Just wants to make exactly sure that before I shuffle this hand in, that this is exactly what we're doing. You know, taking that extra few seconds when you're on the big stage there, definitely suggest that.
All right, Kyle. Lee's looking for what? Another power tablet and a choice belt? Is that what's going on right now?
And I think it's the last of each with the prize cards.
That's a little rough. None of that 6 helped at all. Couple of energies, you already played those down. Couple supporters, you already played that. You have the Mew VMAX. You can't play anything in this hand.
Wow.
Even the Echoing Horn. The bench is full for David. That has to be the worst Roxanne I've ever seen here.
It might be a lie.
All right, we're going to game 2, and I would have done the exact same thing. Look at all those items left in the deck. Maybe you need that Pokestop a little bit to, to hit those.
Yeah, I mean, you think about how unlucky you have to be in order to get into that situation. Did we see a single Cramomatic?
No.
I mean, that's ridiculous to think about there. The Ultra Balls, the Cramomatics, all those resources that could potentially help out in a situation like that. And Lee's just stuck. He has to give up 13 minutes into this match here, which could potentially be a match that sends Lee off into the top 8. Sure enough, now has to think about how in the world you take down all of the firepower of this Dark deck.
Firepower Arc deck. What?
There's like Dire
no
Flame Wings.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Fiery Wrath and
Moltres.
Come on,
yeah.
man.
Okay, it's good.
Thanks.
Both players are setting up here for game 2, and it's round 13. They're 9-2-1. That means 28 match points. We've been saying 35 for most of these bigger regionals. This one's a little bit smaller. I think a little over 900 Masters for this weekend.
Who thought we'd ever be saying that?
I know, right? Coming from the person who won like a 120-person regionals, right?
They were so talented. No, that's a good point. With 28 points, you're looking at now trying to win 2 matches and then lock in with that ID. But of course, if you're not able to find that, if you end up taking the loss in this situation, winning your next 2 matches means you will be at 34 points. Could be looking at the bubble. And we're thinking right now, with the way that the natural ties are looking, maybe 1 or 2 of those players are able to squeak into the top 8, which would be pretty big here. As looked at the accomplishments for both these players, looks like Lee has had plenty of those top 16 finishes with 1 top 4 finish a few years back. And David's been a very consistent West Coast player, always in that top 32-ish of a few of those regionals.
Looking at the prize cards, Power Tablet and Choice Belt.
Why?
Yet again for Lee here.
At least the Power Tablet is near the bottom, so take that opening knockout on a B Pokemon with just those 210, 220 hit points. Not going to be too difficult. Then you reach for the stars, knock out that Darkrai. Was that one good enough for you?
Yeah, I like that one.
Thanks.
That was great. Looks like David did find a Pokemon here, and we're going to get things rolling for game 2.
Where do these prize cards go? I'm not familiar with that Choice Belt art, and it's really messing with me.
Oh, I thought it was Defiance Band for the longest time.
Not too difficult of prize cards to work with there. Just one of those stadiums. Hopefully find the other 3. Okay, but that hand. David's hand looking a little rough.
Finally, a Cramomatic from Lee here. Dice off the table.
He doesn't even remember how to roll it. It's been so long.
Oh, no. Tails from the Cramomatic, but you got a battle VIP pass here. You can find a Mew to go along with the Genesect, but again, can you thin this hand down? It might have to be a Path to the Peak.
Don't say it.
And then Lost Vacuum, the Path to the Peak. Do you just, at that point, do you wait until next turn?
I think you just play the Path to the Peak and, you know, say all these battle VIP passes left in my deck are now officially trash.
Or Cramomatic fodder. Is that Roxanne in the hand? And the Power Tablet. Yeah, just more cards you don't want to discard here from Lee's side of things. David now.
Are you ready for a turn?
Pass.
Here we go.
All right, this is how Lee is going to be able to win this game. Finds another Path to the Peak off the top of the deck. At least you got a replacement, but it's just another card in hand that you can't get rid of to draw with Fusion Strike System.
My favorite disrespectful play of all time is when you throw away the Roxanne, saying, I'm not going to be losing at any point in this game.
Oh, wow.
That's tough.
Judge Power Tablet. You can't burn another Power Tablet here, so you're forced to judge, but your opponent did nothing on their first turn.
And you think about what David did in that situation once more. Played down the Manaphy. And you know it's not going to be a great Pokemon to have him play, but think about with the 7 prize game that you could potentially work into the mix, and also just not having that card there now from the judge. Maybe
think about
that will lead to 1 additional good card in the hand.
Think about the ways that Lee can get out of the active spot. It's 2 escape rope, 1 switch card.
Yep. You can save yourself that extra prize card.
All right, we got an Ultra Ball, but more cards you can't discard in that Power Tablet.
Sure you can.
Have to, but you can, but it doesn't feel good.
Oh, no. Yeah, if you miss the knockout here, taking knockouts on any Darkrai V-Star means, what, every other resource left in the deck?
Yep.
Not even then, right?
Where's the Silene when you need it?
I'm kind of glad we're past those days.
Ultra Ball finds another Genesect V here. Lee has only used that active one. That's what that coin is for, indicating you used that Fusion Strike System. Gonna be a hope and a prayer off the top of the deck here. Double Turbo Energy and Switch Cart. I guess you also have a Forest Seal Stone.
Yeah, you really prefer to find the Switch Cart in this situation. Knocking out this Darkrai V would be so crucial. Sure enough, finds the energy, finds the Cram-O-Matic, and has another few resources that could be played.
And Nest Ball for Mew, Cram-O-Matic the other Nest Ball. Hope to hit heads, and then you have Path to the Peak to lock things up yet again.
Yeah, this is an all-in scenario at this point. You know you're not going to be able to compete with the hit points of Darkrai V-Star. Love to see a heads here.
Oof.
All right.
We'll draw it anyway. It's fine. 2 more chances.
Of course, adding that additional Fusion Strike Pokemon to the bench. Going to help out there, getting that additional card. And hopefully it doesn't look like last game.
There's the Switch Cart.
Okay.
Wow. Now all you're missing is just a way to bump that Path to the Peak next turn so you can continue this awesome draw power that Mew VMAX as a deck provides you.
Still can squeak in an additional card here. Could do a little more even with that Ultra Ball if you'd like.
Yeah, I think I like Ultra Ball discarding that Battle VIP pass and the second Path to the Peak. You don't have to get anything with it, but it allows you to draw extra cards for the last Fusion Strike system of the turn.
Well, you think about the resources you need to close out in a situation like this. The last Mew VMAX is kind of important, as you're going to be looking for a Pokemon to switch into and continue attacking. So I wouldn't mind grabbing that Pokemon.
No, we're going to draw it off the Fusion Strike system.
Oh, yeah, we're chilling then.
Yeah.
Why would you want to draw it instead of just grabbing it?
Look, it was the first card.
Sure enough. Calculated.
And even found the Lost Vacuum for next turn. This hand is insane from Lee.
I like the deck just saying, you know what? You meant to grab this. Here you go.
You forgot something. Manaphy to the active for David and a ton behind. Look at that hand off the judge. Not much better from that opening hand.
It looks like the same hand.
Did he shuffle? No.
Wow. Yep, that's a turn. Once more. Very unlucky there to see those cards. And this is going to be a knockout, I think. We've got the boss's orders, and the power tablet should have been drawn off the prize cards, I believe.
Yep. Who needs Fusion Strike system? Power tablet will allow Mew to cross Fusion Strike for 220 damage, which is exact knockout on that Galarian Moltres V. And I think we're going to go to a game 3.
Spin the wheel.
All right, I guess.
Yay.
Is there a way? I guess you have that regular Moltres.
Oh, no.
It just goes to the
But not that way. That way sends you to game 3.
I guess the good news is David gets to go first, get those abilities down before that Path to the Peak.
I mean, that's what we've been looking for, to see the explosive start, getting all those energies down. And if you can have 2 threats in play at the same time, then Mew does not do well against that. That was something that I was looking for in game 1. There was that opportunity to maybe use your Darkrai V-Star a little aggressively, use that Star Abyss, and maybe go after cards like Trekking Shoes and the Dark Patch, something to just play a ton of energies into play, maybe get lucky and have 2 Pokemon lined up, but we'll see if that's even necessary in game 3. Lee's been working through it on that side, and thankfully was able to get the job done.
Now, we were talking about 34 being the kind of bubble in for top 8. I was thinking about it. Andrew Hedrick has the possibility to go 15-0.
He could definitely skew the the results.
And we've seen it with Piper Lapine in the past, where she was 13-0 and decided to let a few people win to make it into top 8 for a better matchup.
Yep.
I don't know if Andrew's going to be doing that same thing. You want to go for that 15-0 maybe. But if he does that, I think at 34 is going to be a clean cut, just because there's going to be such a big disparity between the match points at the end of this.
Well, it's certainly something that we need to look out for. We often talk about the ties being the issue, but if someone just steals all of the match points, that doesn't leave much for everyone else. So we'll see just how greedy Mr. Hedrick gets, and I wouldn't blame him. It would be quite the accomplishment to just never lose, never tie at an event of this size. Good cards.
I'm going to start things off with a mulligan from Lee here. David, unfortunately, starts that Luminion V. Another lackluster starter here. And looking at the prize cards, nothing too bad, but that Battle VIP pass. A couple supporters and a couple dark energies.
This could certainly be a good opener here. It's one that you have to play pretty aggressively. See a few of those trekking shoes. Pokestop, spin the wheel, could be fun.
I don't know about your idea of fun, Kyle, but I don't think that's
clearly
mine.
The Go players enjoy it.
That is true. They enjoy it a lot. And so
All
there's
right.
their own Chip Ritchie.
Well, just a single power tablet this time around. You like staring down the fish.
These trekking shoes are going to have to put in a lot of work. Discards a dark energy.
Best card. Wow,
Ultra
wow,
Ball.
wow.
All right. We're cooking a little bit.
I think we might be built different. See the trekking shoes. Once more. Can you see another dark energy? Okay. Oh, wow. No. What?
The second pair of trekking shoes found the Battle VIP pass to go along with the Ultra Ball. That's going to allow David to get set up. Has the dark energy in the discard already. You can Ultra Ball away another dark in hand. Got a dark patch. You got Galarian Moltres V with Dire Flame Wings. This little shaky start ended up being pretty good.
You're going to take your time here. Try to map out how exactly you want to play this. Maximum energies probably means that you'd be using the smaller Galarian Moltres to get some energies down from hand. If you want to just have the threats of attackers, then clearly the Galarian Moltres V along with the Darkrai V-Star are going to be two solid Pokemon to have. And I really like seeing the Radiant Greninja here to continue to draw some additional cards. And you always have that Ultra Ball to go find the Darkrai. We could see 5 energies this turn.
We can. Concealed cards didn't really help, though.
We could see 2 energies this turn. I mean, if Pokestop spins the wheel and just finds all the energies, this could be insane.
Another Battle VIP pass, maybe, or just discard some cards. All right.
Ooh.
Wrong order there. Should have Pokestop first, grab those items, and then concealed cards. Of course, you have no idea of knowing.
There was Ultra Ball Thin grabbing the Darkrai, which could have been nice. One additional card that you would never want to see off Pokestop anyways.
And it's rough discarding the escape rope here to try to find the Darkrai V, but I guess the one solace you have is Lee also has a Genesect V in the active spot, so could expect another escape rope or an amazing switch card top deck again. David has Dark Patch in hand, along with that Dire Flame Wings, so you can get those 2 for sure, but I don't think there's going to be an attachment for turn here.
Yep, like using all the resources while you still can. Of course, you always have to be thinking about that judge from your opponent. I'm going to play the hand down pretty low past the turnover. And Lee not only has to find some Pokemon, but also lock in a path if he doesn't want to be knocked out.
Yeah, his hand's really rough here. It's double Mew VMAX. It's going to have to Pokestop. Finds an Ultra Ball. That's actually big here.
Yeah, that helps clean up his hands. That's often the issue. We've seen players even using Squaffit in this deck just because of how clunky the hands get without cards like Quick Ball. Kerma-Matic, also a great way to thin down a little more until it does that.
Has the Forest Sealstone in hand to find something like a Battle VIP pass, which honestly you might need to do. Ultra Ball, discard the Pal Pad and the Lost Vacuum for another Pokemon that you can finally Fusion Strike system for a few cards. But again, there are resources you kind of need for the future.
Is it double Mew VMAX in hand?
Yeah, double Mew VMAX. And I kind of like getting rid of one to save that Lost Vacuum because it gets rid of another card
It is terrifying when you haven't had an opening deck search to
we're about to
throw away the Mew VMAX. So I like finding out what's going on in there first before losing this Pokemon. Because you need two if you want to win the game.
That Star Alchemy found a judge. So we're going to spin the wheel yet again. Not even playing the Ultra Ball here. Valuing the Pal Pad and Lost Vacuum much more highly than that Ultra Ball. And the judge is actually going to help David out a lot because the rest of the hand wasn't very good. It was the stadium, and I think that's it.
I mean, if we don't see a Pokemon, this could be game ending. Big risk here, potential big reward to have that hand cleaned up. It's got to be 4 really good cards.
4 Battle VIP Pass. Would that count?
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Okay. Double turbo, double turbo.
Oh, no, not 4 of those.
Ultra Ball Boss. All right, well, you didn't want to discard the Pal Pad and the Lost Vacuum. You're going to have to discard a double turbo Boss's orders.
And finding the energies means that you have to go for the Mew V instead of the Genesect first, which means you're limited to just 2 cards off of this Fusion Strike system with no guarantee of another.
Listen, we've seen Nestash from Squavit do it. I'm sure.
I mean, Genesect already has the glowing red eyes. this has to work.
Fusion Strike system for 2 cards. What does Lee find? Path to the Peak. Cram-O-Matic cannot use that Cram-O-Matic.
The path probably means you stick around. Top deck item could lead to a Lost Vacuum that you can't play.
Oh, no.
I don't think you can play this card.
Even if you don't, David has, or even if you do, David has the Collapse Stadium back in the hand again.
Wow. I mean, I guess you could, yeah, you can always play it down, hopefully find an item, and then you could go search for a judge. Can you imagine if there's cross switchers this turn?
Oh, wow. Trekking Shoes discards a Dark Energy, finds a
in
Clara.
pairs.
Trekking Shoes again. Thinking for a little bit. It's that Darkrai V-Star. That's a great one to find.
Could you ever get rid of that? We already lost one.
I think it's because you need more cards, but you got concealed cards now. Can find a couple more.
The one Lumineon already down. The Ultra Ball finding the supporter for the turn isn't going to work out.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to retreat here. You do have access to Star Abyss, though.
Well, there's Clara.
Dire Flame Wings grabs an energy there. Awkward turn for David here, but not as awkward as Lee's. He's still going to need a lot to just try to even stay in this game. But there's the Star Abyss. 2 items from the discard. Oh, there's the escape rope.
No.
Oh, no.
Okay, that is dangerous. Yep. Yep, missed that earlier. Okay. Darkrai V-Star going to get into the action here. Escape Rope promotes that Mew V, and that is plenty of damage with the Dark Pulse to take the knockout and put Lee in a devastating position.
And you have 2 attackers set up as well, thanks to that Galarian Moltres V on the bench. Clara's not even going to grab energy. He's just grabbing that Darkrai V-Star. And there's the Dark Pulse for the knockout. 2 million damage on that Mew V.
Not even the item. Let's shake hands and move on. That is an unbelievable way to close things out there as David takes a quick turn 2 victory in game 3.
Darkrai doing Darkrai things, especially when your opponent's weak to dark.
I guess we haven't seen Darkrai things in 10 years, man. I'm not used to this non-Night Spear shenanigans.
Listen, we've seen Dark Pulse with Darkrai. It's fine.
I mean, hey, I got top 4 with it at a regional.
Yeah, you just forget all of 2016.
Yes.
Is that what's going on?
That's what happens when you get this old, Jeremy.
Congratulations to David Tomhave-Alexie. Now 31 match points, 1 win away from potentially locking up a top 8 here in Fresno, California with